Well, hey, Christ Covenant, I want to talk about where we're headed Sunday as we continue our series, "A Light to the Nations," as we look at selected texts in the book of Acts. And this week we're going to look at Acts chapter 15, predominantly verses 1 through 35. We might make our way all the way through the chapter, but at least verses 1 through 35. And this is in some ways, a controversial text. In fact, many different denominations use Acts 15 to kind of defend their polity. And in some ways, as you think about it, it's not as an exciting text as some of the other places in Acts. For instance, you kind of leave a mission trip and now make your way in Acts 15 to what's a business meeting, or what's often called the Jerusalem Council. But this is obviously also a pivotal moment, and a pivotal moment in the continued mission of the church, or else Luke would not have included it. And it's also a chapter that reaffirms the gospel of grace, which is a reminder we can all use. And in many ways, this chapter will set up the rest of the book of Acts. And from here on out, Acts will be mainly focused on Paul and his work among the Gentiles. And so they have to clear up an important question in order for Paul to continue to be about the fulfillment of Acts chapter 1:8, that the gospel would make its way all the way to the ends of the earth. And so we're going to see then is this theme of grace. We're going to see first at the beginning of the chapter that grace is disputed. There's this dispute that arises. The circumcision party is telling Gentiles in particular that they must be circumcised in order to be saved, in order to be part of the people of God. So there's this dispute that comes up. And so Antioch sends Paul and Barnabas up to Jerusalem to consider the question of circumcision. Then we're going to see the second part of the text. So first part of the text, grace is disputed. But in the second part of the text, we're going to see that grace is defended and displayed. The apostles and the elders of the church at Jerusalem will consider this question as Paul and Barnabas talk about what's happened among the Gentiles. And you'll see that they will defend grace. In fact, they're going to say this amazing thing that we, the Jews, are saved in the same way as the Gentiles, that we're made part of the people of God in the same way that the Gentiles are. So we'll see grace disputed, then we're going to see grace defended, and then finally, we're going to see what I would label grace delivered and described as Paul and Barnabas, with some delegates from the church of Jerusalem, will be sent back to Antioch to be told what is the decision of the Jerusalem Council. And it's an amazing text. It says that when they hear the letter, when they hear this letter, that they are joyful, that they love what they hear. As there's again, grace is reaffirmed, and so we're going to see this theme of grace. We're going to see this dispute, and then we're going to see how the council handles this idea of grace alone. Through faith alone in Christ alone is what saves, not our works, not even something like circumcision that marked out the Old Testament people of God. Now, weaving throughout this theme of grace, we're going to see four significant implications. And those four implications all revolve around C words. And that's going to be this. We're going to see the importance or the primacy of the church in the mission of God, that God has chosen his church as the vehicle by which he will accomplish his purposes in the world. Second, we're going to see the importance of cooperation. We're going to see the fact that churches come together, even though they're autonomous, they come together to cooperate in order to help one another fulfill the mission of God. Again, carry out Acts chapter 1:8. Third, we're going to see the implication of congregationalism. We're going to see the importance of the role of the church and her members in making important decisions for the church. And then finally, the final implication will be the C word, clarity. We're going to see the importance of doctrinal clarity. For the sake of the gospel mission, we need to be clear about what the gospel is. We need to have doctrinal clarity about the most important things. And in particular, we need to be clear about what the gospel is. Again, this is not a works-based thing, even something like circumcision. We need to be clear that what will save you is grace alone, through faith alone, in Christ alone. And again, we'll celebrate that on Sunday, just this amazing gospel that has saved us. All for this purpose, as we've talked about this before, but all for this purpose as we continue to think about the mission of God and as we play our part in the mission of God, that God has chosen the church, that he has always had a people that he reveals his glory to in order that he can reveal his glory through. And that's really what is at stake as we come to this text called the Jerusalem Council. So read Acts chapter 15, read through it, consider what is the Lord saying there, what is Luke trying to record for the church, what is God trying to teach us through Acts chapter 15, and then let's come together and study on Sunday. I hope to see you there.